What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Cora Elise show. Hope we're all doing good. First of all, I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who has been supporting my show so far and all the amazing comments and reviews that I've been getting. Thank you. Honestly, it means the world. I know I've not brought a podcast out as consistently as I would have liked to, but you know, such as life, a lot of things have been happening recently. So I'm back. I feel like this topic today that I'm going to speak about is actually very relatable for myself as well. And it's how to stay focused. I'm going to run over my 5 tips on how to stay focused. So when I feel like I'm falling off track, whether it's with, gym or a side hustle or work or doing this podcast, for example, my 5 tips on how to stay focused. And when I follow these 5 things, they do really help me, and it's what's helped me actually put this podcast out today. Because if I didn't, then I don't think that I would have actually got this done either. So yeah, before we get into that, let's run the intro and dive into the 5 ways on how to stay focused. Okay, so like I said, these 5 tips have massively had an influence on me on staying focused. I feel like a couple of these I fell off over the last few weeks, and I've been putting a lot of my energy into personal training, into work. And when you tend to have a lot of things and put your eggs in, loads of eggs in one basket, as they say, you do tend to focus more on one thing and put more energy into one thing or one task, and the other things get, put to the side. A lot of the time, it's important to try and find a balance, especially if you're wanting to, pursue your passions and really dive into them. For example, with myself doing the podcast and personal training and gym and trying to have a social life and everything else. For me personally, my social life does probably get, less of a priority compared to other things. And that, to me, it should still be a balance, because, your social life is super important as well. And having that relaxation time and that downtime makes you stronger and makes you more focused when you are trying to achieve other goals. And I've started to realize that more and more, that we do need that downtime, we do need that help sometimes when we are trying to just work and graft. So yeah, I'm still finding the balance myself. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, I know it all, I do this to stay focused and I have a complete balance. I don't think anybody, if I'm being completely honest, has a full balance of everything: social life, work, everything. They will always have priorities over one, and then that will go up and down depending on the timing. So for example, if you're going on a date night, you might be prioritizing your social life over work. And if you decide to work that night instead of going out with friends or on a date, then you're prioritizing your work over a social life. So you do have to make sacrifices sometimes if you want to pursue certain goals and certain achievements. But it's good to have that balance. So just bear that in mind. But more importantly, these are my 5 tips on how to stay focused. And like I said, guys, these have helped me massively and really do make a difference when you are following all 5. So let's just dive straight into it, shall we? My first tip is remove any negativity or situations that might put you into a negative mindset. Now, I'm not going to sit here and be like, be positive, remove the negativity. That's not realistic. Sometimes you do, you can't avoid negativity, it's all around us. But if you can sort of remove any situations that might cause you to think negatively, situations that might be very toxic for you, or if you tend to have a lot of negative thoughts that don't need to be there, then that can be removed. For example, if you're someone who likes to go out every weekend, or maybe you don't even like to go out every weekend, maybe you have friends or, you know, people that are trying to get you out every weekend drinking, again, that can sometimes put people into a negative headspace, because, you know, if you don't want to go out and you're being forced to go out, or you're being persuaded to go out and drink, and then the next day you feel hungover and rubbish and regret going out, and you didn't even want to go out yourself in the first place, and then that whole day you're hungover, maybe your diet's a little bit off that day and you just feel really awful and crappy, then, you know, that can be something that is going to put you into a negative headspace. So it might be a case of saying no and saying that you can't go out that night, or maybe do it every other weekend, or maybe just try and have the willpower of saying, I don't want to go out because I don't want to feel rubbish the next day, because I would like to get up and train. I'd like to get up early, train, and maybe, you know, do my side hustle or do whatever it is that I'm doing, or maybe just, you know, have a day of rest rather than trying to sort of fight a hangover the next day. Try not to expose yourself to too much of that negativity if it rubs off on you, because that can make such a massive difference. Or the closest people that you surround yourself, they are your biggest influences in life. And I'm a strong believer in that. The 5 people that you're around the most, they say that you're the sort of result of them 5 people. Obviously you're your own person, but if you're around 5 negative people, people who are always toxic, always seeing the negative points rather than the positive, not really fulfilling their full potential, then that's going to rub off on you. So, you know, just make sure your circle and your environment is a positive environment. And if you can't, you know, help being around these people, maybe it's work colleagues, maybe it's friends that sometimes have negative, you know, headspace or mindset, try and help them through it. Try and tell them, you know, you don't have to be negative all the time, or maybe you don't have to say it in that way, or try and show them the positive in the situation. But just be careful of what you expose yourself to. And that leads nicely onto my second point. My second point is adapting a focused mindset. So once you've removed any negative situations or anything that might put you into a negative headspace, so again, it doesn't necessarily have to be going out itself. It could be something that the day after puts you into a negative headspace. Adapting a positive, focused mindset is so important. And the way you can do that is, again, changing your environment and having resources there that will help you have a focused mindset. So a big one, again, podcasts, audiobooks, they are going to help you adapt that focused mindset. Being around people that push you, being around, again, on the flip side of removing that negative situation and mindset, being around people that push you, being around good energies, they are so important. If you come away from someone and you feel physically and mentally drained, then that's not going to help you be focused. That's not going to help you achieve your goals. That's not going to help you get focused. If you come away from someone and they push you to achieve greatness, they inspire you, they, you know, tell you to do certain things or don't go out the weekend, being around good energies is so important, and they will help you adapt a focused mindset. You will come away from that person feeling energized rather than drained. And adapting a focused mindset can be different for everyone. So it could be as simple as going outdoors. If you're indoors still, working at home, working from home, then maybe just going outdoors, going for a walk, is going to inspire you. Just getting away from, you know, that working from home environment. Getting outdoors, seeing outdoors, maybe listening to some good music or some inspiring podcasts or a TED Talk while you're walking. That can help a lot of people. And that can also be going to the gym, going into a gym environment. Maybe you're working from home, you sat at a desk all day, get yourself to the gym, you're fired up, you're ready. Obviously, fitness has such a massive effect on a focused mindset, and that's a huge one. By doing these different things, you will adapt a focused mindset. It's not something that you can just switch on. You need that inspiration there. You need them positive energies around you. You need them positive people around you, people that inspire you. You need to be in that positive environment. All these little things will help you adapt a focused mindset. If you get up in the morning and you're not inspired, you want to be focused, but you just can't get focused, you can't get motivated, then there's something there that's stopping that. It's not pushing you in the right direction. So find that thing that makes you driven, that makes you want to get up in the morning and want to get focused and focus on whatever it is you want to achieve. And adapting a focused mindset and trying to get focused can be in any situation. So when I'm saying how to stay focused, these 5 points on how to stay focused, it can be getting focused to going to the gym. It can be, again, your side hustle, maybe starting a business or something that you've always wanted to start. Maybe you're just feeling really lethargic and really just demotivated at the moment. It's hard times. It's a bit of a funny time as well when, we've been through a few lockdowns now in the UK, and at the moment everything's opened up, but it's still a funny place to be at because everyone feels confused and demotivated. So my third tip on how to stay focused is get up early, prioritize your sleep. Don't sleep on your dreams. If you're not prioritizing your sleep, this can make you so fatigued. And if you're fatigued and you're tired in the day, you're not going to want to do anything. You're not going to want to smash your goals and have the energy to actually, think straight. So I know while it's been hot at the moment, a lot of people have been struggling to sleep, which is a given. But if you can try and prioritize your sleep, try and get to bed earlier, and try and even different remedies to try and get you to sleep. So there is magnesium, which is a good one. Magnesium, zinc, ZMA, which is a supplement that you can take before bed, which helps sleep. You can also take CBD. You can get THC free as well, which will help you sleep. I tend to take that now and again when I'm struggling with sleep. I made the mistake of taking it too often and having it every night, and it doesn't have the same effect. So when you feel like you do need a good sleep, or maybe you haven't been getting a good sleep over the last few nights, take the CBD every now and again when you need it, and it does help. Well, it helps me anyway, and I know a lot of people that it's helped as well. Also great for anxiety. So, a lot of the time when we're not sleeping, it might be because we've got a lot on our mind. If you're anything like myself, where you're busy in the day and then you actually wind down and it comes to the time where you're going to sleep, your brain gets very active. So I take CBD now and again to help that. I also take my magnesium and my zinc in the evening, which helps with sleep as well. There's also other things you can take, such as, you can have herbal teas and salt baths and anything that's really going to just relax you. You want to be in a complete relaxed state of mind before you go to sleep. Get a good, decent night's sleep, not a light sleep. Of course, again, because fitness does play into everything. Exercise and, being active in the day is also going to help you get to sleep. So if you're up early and training, you are more likely to get a good night's sleep. Sometimes it's hard to actually, depending on, your shift pattern or how you work, you might be more of a evening gym goer. And sometimes that can get you fired up after you trained in the evening and then you struggle to sleep because of all the endorphins. But sometimes it might work on the flip side where you're exhausted after training and you might get a good night's sleep if that's your pattern of training, you're used to it. But I definitely recommend trying to get an early night, get a good night's sleep, try the different remedies I mentioned. And when you get a decent night's sleep, it makes all that difference. if you can get up early, and even on the days where you might feel like you really are tired, try and get up early, because then you will sleep on that evening rather than sleeping till like 10, 11 o'clock. And then of course you're going to be going to bed later that night again. And then it's just a vicious cycle. So make yourself get up early. A good little technique you can use as well is, if you set your alarm on your phone, put your phone to the other side of the room. So then you have to get up early you have to get up to turn the alarm off. It sounds very cruel, and it's something that you really don't want to do, but it's going to get you up. Once you've got up early, you can start to get more focused. You can get up early, get that coffee hit, and work on whatever it is you need to get focused on. If it means getting up early to go gym because you don't have time in the day, then you'll smash your workouts first thing in the morning. And it does get easier when you start to get up early. I've been getting up at 5 a.m. for over the last few years now, and I'm not gonna lie, some days I haven't got up at 5 o'clock, and I've got up a little later because I've needed that sleep, which is fair enough. But when I have slept through and not got up earlier, or say I've had a later night, that day isn't as productive. So if you are getting up early, you're going to be more productive. You've got more time in the day. So that's my third tip on how to get focused. And probably, in my opinion, one of the most important ones. Once you get into a routine of getting up early, that is then going to become a norm. And you will feel, if you sleep in, that you're sleeping in and not fulfilling your full potential. So my fourth tip on how to get focused, or also how to stay focused and get focused, I suppose they work both ways, is find your passion. Once you've found your passion, you can then explore it. And I know this can take a while sometimes. Maybe you're struggling on what it is you're passionate about, what it is that you really need to dive into. But if you're passionate about something, it becomes less of a chore and more of something that you actually want to do. So for example, like the third tip of getting up early, if you're getting up early for something that you're passionate about, you're going to jump out of bed. You're going to be fired up and ready. If you aren't passionate about something that you're trying to get focused on, of course it's going to be harder, and you're not going to want to get up. So that might be when you need to put the phone at the other side of the room to get the alarm, if it's something that you're not as passionate about. But if you're trying to get focused to go gym, maybe find a fitness routine that you're more passionate about. So if cardio isn't your thing, dive into weightlifting, dive into weight training, strength training, because to be honest with you, a lot of people that I know that wasn't into strength training at the start really enjoy it now. So again, give it time, maybe you'll start to enjoy it. And if you're not enjoying it, maybe that's not for you. Maybe boxing's for you. Maybe yoga's for you. Whatever it is, if it is fitness and getting healthier and fitter and getting up early to go gym, find a fitness routine that you're passionate about. For me, strength training is something that I'm passionate about. So when I get up in the morning, there will be some days where I don't want to train. Like, every person, no matter what level you're at in fitness, you will have days where you don't want to train. But once you get into it, and once you actually get into the gym and get your music on, or whatever it is that gets you fired up, then you're good to go. And when you start seeing them results, that is a massive motivator as well. If it's something that isn't gym related and it's more, a side hustle, I'm taking fitness and a side hustle or starting a business as the two main points of staying focused, because I know that is two big things that I know a lot of people speak about on struggling to get focused with. And it could even be a hobby. So it could be something that you're trying to get focused on with a hobby. But if it isn't fitness related and it's something to do with a side hustle, make sure that you're passionate about it before you dive into it. If it's something to do with food, then are you passionate enough about food to pursue this? Because you've got to remember, if you're getting up 5 o'clock or whatever time it is, and you something that you're going to be grafting on on the days where you're off. Maybe you're having to do late nights. It's going to be so much harder if you're not passionate about it. So my biggest piece of advice is make sure that if you are starting a business or trying to get focused on something that you want to pursue, make sure you're passionate about it. Sometimes I understand that you have to start certain things to find out whether it is your passion. I 100% understand that. But I think there's got to be something there that sparks that fire to get started with it. My fifth and final tip is remember why you're doing it. I really felt like Mufasa then. Remember, Simba. But remember why you're doing it. Remember why you started whatever it is you're getting focused on. Remember why. If it's the gym, remember that you're going to get healthier, you're going to get fitter, you're going to be the best version of you if you go to the gym. Or if you're training, or if you're running outside on a rainy day and you really don't want to run, remember why you're doing it. Have that in your brain all the time. And even if it means writing it down, the purpose of why you're doing it, and having it up on the wall. So every time you start or get up in the morning, or, you know, wherever you go, it's there. Have it as a screensaver on your phone. Have it so it's constantly there, so you're remembering why you are doing it. And it sounds so simple, but it's so effective. These little tips, you know, all of them sound so simple, but when you actually put it into practice, it makes a massive difference. These 5 tips might be something that you've thought about already, and you might be thinking, well, Cora, I already know all this. But have you put it into practice? And I mean, really, have you really put it into practice? Have you really sat down and thought, why am I doing this? Because maybe even the purpose of why you're doing it is for the wrong reasons. And if it is, then maybe you need to find another passion or find another focus. But then if the reason why you're doing it is so much bigger than, you know, just having a lighting, then of course that is going to be a massive motivator. If you're starting a business, and I can 100% relate to this, being an entrepreneur, there is some days where you will think, should I just get a job and just work for someone? Because it's difficult. Being your own boss, of course, has its perks, but there is some days where you think, you know, it is very consuming, very life consuming, and you do need to put a lot of time and effort into it if you want it to be amazing. But then when you sit down and feel like that and feel like, well, you know what, should I give it all up, or should I just calm it down a bit and get a job somewhere else? You have to remember the goal. You have to remember why you're doing it. Is it financial freedom? Is it so you have more time? Is it because you want to help people? Whatever that reason is, whenever you're feeling demotivated or just deflated, remember why. Remember why you're doing it. And just put that into practice. Please, all these 5 things, put them into practice. So to sum up, the 5 ways on how to stay or get focused. Remove any negativity or situations that put you into a negative mindset. Again, this might be something you thought of, but have you really put it into practice? Are you still exposing yourself to a lot of negative surroundings and environments? Number 2, adapt a focused mindset. Again, you can use changing your environment or the gym or having more resources like books and podcasts. Number 3, get up early and prioritize your sleep. Again, like I said before, this is a huge one, and probably, in my opinion, one of the ones that should be right up there. If anything, start with that one. Just try getting up early and take it from there. Number 4, find your passion and explore it. Dive into it. If it's something even that's been in the back of your mind that you've been wanting to start for a while and you haven't, explore it. Just start somewhere. Starting somewhere is better than not starting at all. And number 5, remember why you're doing it. I really do hope these 5 tips have helped you guys today, because I know, like I said before, it's a funny time for everyone and it's a confusing time. where we might start to lose a little bit of focus. We might start to feel very deflated. And this happens in all different times of our lives. It might be months and months of being focused, and then we might just fall off it, and it happens. But if you try and stay on top of these 5 tips, then you should and you will get focused again. And you can always refer back to these. So even if you write them down, write the 5 tips down, or come back to this podcast, this episode, when you are feeling a little bit less motivated or a little bit deflated, then listen back to it and remind yourself of the 5 tips and how to get back on track. We all need that reminder sometimes. You can achieve anything you put your mind to, as cliche as that sounds. And all you have to do is get focused. It is simple as that. Get focused, put your mind to it, and you can achieve greatness. If this podcast has helped you in any way, shape, or form, please let me know. I do love hearing the feedback on how it's helped people, because this is the reason why I do these podcasts, these episodes. And if there's anything else that you need help with, or you need more advice with, or you want me to do an episode on, then please just give me a shout and let me know how I can help you with that as well. I've got some great guests lined up coming up over the next few weeks, so make sure that you tune in for them. If you want to see more from myself, then remember you can hit me up on Instagram on Cora Elise Fitness. And I put lots of different content on there to do with fitness, mindset, and motivation. You can watch this on YouTube as well as listening on Spotify and Apple iTunes. And please don't forget to rate, subscribe, and share with friends and family, guys. Really, really do appreciate the feedback and the support. Have an amazing day or evening, depending on what time you're listening to this, guys. And remember, just start now. Whatever it is you're wanting to get focused on, just make that start. Even if it means just writing everything down, getting them goals written down, just start, get started, and then you'll thank me later. Thank you, guys. Take care.